Wow! Year's Royal Rumble match, who finally gets his one-on-one match with Roman Reigns on Sunday. What is Edge capable of? Let's show you. First at WrestleMania, Edge did this to Roman Reigns. Roman admitted he had a few moments of fear while this was happening. Then 2 weeks ago on SmackDown, it was Jimmy Uso suffering the same fate. And then last week, Jey Uso...
It's the wrestling show, and we are back, ladies and gentlemen, because we do the previews to the pay-per-view, and we wanted to, we were going to do it earlier in the week, but we said there's finally going to be human beings, not on little television screens, and we might as well wait until after that's over. So I actually stayed up to watch the whole thing. I was like excited to watch wrestling for the first time since probably WrestleMania. I was like, oh my God, there's going to be fucking people I can't wait to fucking watch, and I watched. At the end, I started to fucking be like, last half hour, I'm like, okay, I want to go to bed. But we are going to get into what's going to happen at Money in the Bank. I was very sad that my prediction did not happen during SmackDown, and we'll get into that. I'm Cav Manning. I'm from @TheLingus Mafia, or it's just @Lingus Mafia on Twitter. And I'm along with your number one source, of course, for all of your wrestling news, as you well know if you're a fan of this show. That man is Mr. Billy Body.
Yo, are you excited enough now off the back of the fans being back to start doing this show every week again?
No, they need to prove themselves because Raw is still shit. So I need to see if I see a difference with Raw's quality, because that's a big issue. Raw is just a fucking bore. Raw is bore. That should be their fucking name. And I've always loved SmackDown. I've liked SmackDown for quite a while, and that's my more looking forward to show for sure, even when it was television screens. I think it's the Roman factor. I look forward to his bits every time.
Yeah, I mean, well, we do the show, we do the preview, and then we do the results. So we will have a show next week. So we do the 2 weeks in a row. So next week we're going to catch these, I think the Cena return. We'll have Raw, Money in the Bank, and the possible Cena return next week, and Tony Storm's debut as well. So we are going to run 2 weeks in a row. After that, I think up until SummerSlam, I think there'll be shows to get through this period. Whether they'll be with Cav or not with Cav, I'm not 100% sure. That'll be up to Cav. But I think, in the short term, we'll continue to get through this period while it looks like they're booking for Pops. I was surprised that they didn't actually do more on the show, but I also felt like they were riding through it with the crowd were getting them through anyway. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you needed it. I think whatever they've saved or whatever was good foresight. The consensus across the board is that it did normalize into a normal show in the second hour, mm-hmm. which is just what everybody's saying. But I also feel that the other consensus is that the first 10 minutes kind of got you pumped enough to be happy enough to watch everything else.
The thing too is like you said, they didn't need to book for Pops, really, because I think the crowd would have went fucking ape shit for anyone they see in person. Like, oh, you're famous. Because, you know, when I've gone to, you know, shows, and those dark matches before anything happens, you get the job guys, and you're thrilled to see them. You're like, hey, all right, and everybody gets a fucking cheer. When they're garbed, like Natalia used to come out for it, you would like, yay, you know, and who gives a shit, really? But it's, people were excited to be back. So, you know, a little treat here and there I could see. I saw the dark match report was that Aaliyah was there, and that old Harry Boy Smith was tag teaming with Austin Theory, and he was there.
Yeah, I mean, that's on there. But, I mean, Harry Smith's rehired, so
Yeah.
that's why he was there. But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised they even did that dark match, so I think they would rather get
Me
that
too.
initial pop out, but I think people might have held by something back for TV. I was surprised that Vince came out. They didn't just go with Roman, but I think with Vince being, I don't know if he was unintentionally underwhelming, because there was little trickles of boos once Vince started to walk out because he did so little.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you know, I get that. You know, I thought maybe he would have a statement, obviously, or something, and, you know, we've missed you. But, I mean, it was kind of funny that he's out there, you know, how you been? And then fucking just leave, just be like, okay. But I was like, oh, do you need to get the first fucking... Did he say where you been or how you been?
Where have you been?
Really? See, I couldn't tell. I was wondering, did he say where you been or how you been?
Well, he's got that old man now, so.
He's choking on his own phlegm and stuff like that. But, yeah, and then part of me thinks... You know, why would you steal the spotlight when it should be the first thing they see? Because I didn't know there was dark matches, and I thought the same thing. Why would you have a dark match? Just have, like, with WrestleMania, right? They said, we want the first thing to be an actual person that comes out. And so I was like, oh, okay, you should put Roman out first to get the first, you know, pop.
But I think obviously, like, he did so little that it wasn't really a pop. And I don't know whether he thought this was going to be a real clever thing, or if he's got some writers there that now know how to pitch to his ego. You know, there's a lot of talking online in terms of having writers there that can't get through to him, and they have a lot of good ideas. And whether there's, you know, somebody who now knows how to get their ideas, or whether they have ideas and they're not their best ideas, but they know their ideas that can get on TV. I think if you've been there long enough, you hit a balance where you go, this is my best idea, but he's not going to go for it. So this is my best idea that he will go with. So you know what I mean? It'll be like, I've got 10 ideas, but number 1 to 5, Vince isn't going to like. So the best idea on my list that have a chance of getting past Vince is like number 6 or number 8. Sure. Or do you get what I mean? Yeah. Like so I kind of feel like that's what people are doing. They're drawing up like their ideas, and they're going to him with the most likely ideas that Vince will take. And I feel like this is what happened here, where they wanted him on TV. I think they probably wanted him to I think the best idea would have been to like fucking cut a whole promo and do something with another dude on the roster, get something out of someone, but you can't do that with him anymore. He'll fuck it up. The other thing, obviously, Triple H and Stephanie were in there. If they go out and do a whole welcome back speech, she's nauseating to people. Yeah. And I don't think Vince was out there because they have the awareness that she's horrible and that people get turned off by her. I just think that, you know, I almost think this was the lesser of two evils. I feel you were getting either them two or you were getting her. And I think Triple H is in too indoctrinated in NXT colors. And I think with her, I don't think she's too much like I created women. Yeah. Like women were, I got all the women out of the kitchens.
Oh, former champion.
By myself. Stephanie.
Yes.
Yeah. But she's more known like now for creating the women's revolution. Yes. She's like, look, we are all coming out of the kitchens now. We're put down
Rosie Rivet.
Put down the pan. We're going to start wrestling. Put your bra and mostly though, put your bra and panties away. Which is okay.
Let's burn our bras.
Yeah,
What
'cause there's
did
some women
you?
don't like seeing that stuff.
What did you think of the opening? It nearly put a tear in my eye, like Flair. I was very touched. I love their production. They've always done the fucking greatest, and I've fucking missed it flat out. You know I love them, and they've been my life for fucking 40 years. So I was, like I said, I wanted this to come back, and that opening was fucking fantastic.
What, the opening in terms of
They've missed the fans and all that, and we're back now and shit.
Oh, that did nothing.
Really?
That did nothing for
Oh,
me.
it
No,
touched
that did
me.
nothing
I
for
had
me.
a tear.
But, oh no, I got the tear. At
You
some
cold
point.
bastard.
No, I got the tear at some point. I even like stuck when I was sitting on my couch, even put my like elbow around my head so Austin wouldn't see. But because I mean that's the thing. Like he's not like the guys that listen to this show. Like they can't say shit to me. I've fucked more women than all you put together. So I mean you can't sit there and call and say shit to me about not being a man. But that's the thing. Like that's the other thing as well. Some people don't realize I'm like 6'1" and 15 stone. I'll also beat the fuck out of you as well. But that's another misconception. Because they're all expecting like everybody to be small and bold and fat and wrestling. So it works both ways. But yeah, so I got no issue with saying when. I felt myself getting there, like when we were very interested in Roman's pop, and it was that cheer and then the boo. It was like, yeah, it's like, we're supposed to boo those.
Yeah,
so let's do that next. Right? So that was cool. Because me and Austin were waiting for that. Because he looked at me and I looked at him once the cheer came, and then it was like the booing came next. It was definitely one response and then another because we noticed it because we looked at each other when there was the cheer. Mm-hmm. But I think like the real like the teary part was Edge's.
Really? Edge's what got you?
Because it was like you knew it was coming. Like they knew it was coming, and that was where like I gave them some credit. It was like, oh, you know this happened in Mania, and you're anticipating it again. You're anticipating that this is going to be bigger than Romans and everything. You let the guys, the announcers stop talking. You let the Mysterios hold on there for a minute. They heard some Edge chants you were seeing. Then Ray and Dominic like geeing them up even more. They panned to the Tron. I imagine that visual of them panning to the Tron was captured within the crowd, and then you gave them time to absolutely explode. I think that's the loudest thing I've heard in fucking 22 years of wrestling.
Since Austin, probably.
Right. And the only issue with it is that Cole didn't let it fucking sit. Like, that wow was way too early. That needed to come after Edge had finished. It was kind of like they were saying, wow. It was like, it's like that with everything. It's like, with the Fandango chant, and they had to like make a story out of it. I forget, there was one recently. Something happened, and they needed to immediately put it onto TV, and I cannot remember what it was. No, I think with the Nia slip, and then who slipped? God. Mandy slipped. Mandy slipped. And then Nia was slipping on TV. They made a story out of it. It's just all terrible.
God. And they cut it. That's the best part, is that they cut it out. And they fucking exploited it, though.
Yeah. So they'll exploit, like, organic things and ruin them. So they knew this chart was coming. But, like, it's like Cole had to go, wow. It's like, we wouldn't. So the TV people went, oh, yeah, that's loud.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you fucking idiot. Like, they didn't need to say, wow. We knew it was loud anyway. You could have just said, what an incredible response or whatever, like, once he started walking down to the ring. But, like, the wow was kind of like, I didn't ruin it at all because it's just WWE being WWE. But it's like, it wasn't necessary to put it there.
Even if he said wow in a different way, if he just went, while it was going crazy, went, wow. That's even different because that's normal reaction instead of having to go, wow, you make a big deal.
Yeah, and it was very like predetermined. One thing I will say, these organic pops is obviously like great, but we know like obviously things cool down. They need to be really careful with this new technology because we know, or I know that they're going 50% crowd, 50% Thunderdome technology still. They're keeping it.
Really?
So you need to be really fucking careful in these areas. Like I noticed it where Edge is backstage and he was talking about Roman being a bitch, and there was a huge cheer for it.
Yeah.
That wasn't real. The EST, after they announced her name, wasn't real. There was a real EST later, but that one was the Thunderdome EST. So the way you use this piping would be if you want to get a chant going, and then once you go, so it should. I'm fine with it being the head cheerleader, because you need a dude. I mean, the other way
you need the applause sign.
Yeah, but also, like, you know what? Another thing that WWE have done in the past is they've had like people in their creative team or their producers go into the crowd and start chants, right? That's had like mixed success, because you know it takes something, whether you're at a soccer match or a wrestling match or whatever, or any sport, to start a chant. You need to be that dude, and you need to be like sure that everybody's gonna like come on board with you. Otherwise, you're just there shouting on your own.
Yeah, we've seen them fail where it's one guy doing it, everyone doesn't.
Yeah. And how many times are you gonna start? Oh, this is awesome on your own, like or whatever the chance. Like, this is awesome. It's far too easy to get going now and far too like overused. But yeah, so they've tried that. So now they're gonna like obviously go with this. You know, the problem with it will be if it's not in sync at all with the crowd, like it wasn't a couple of times on this show. So I know they feel like they've got a new toy there, and they feel like now they're going to be perfect they're going to get everything that they want every time, but they won't. There's going to be characters there that people don't want to cheer, and I fear that if he keeps doing the Scottish history stories, Drew McIntyre might be one of those people.
Dude, that's that fucking Loch Ness Monster fucking story. Ooh.
But I chatted with him like a few weeks ago, and he said the way he was going to do it was he was going to try and get people on board. His plan was to get people on board and be like, look, these are ridiculous, and I know ridiculous, and I want people to understand I'm in on the joke.
Yes.
And he goes,
I did get that during it. Yeah.
And he said I even like chucked some Hulk. He goes because it was pre-taped. He goes, watch this week. I even got some like Hogan in there. He goes, I really like hammed it up and went like, real like brother with it. And I watched it this week, and I was like, I think now, bearing in mind I'm not the average wrestling audience, but I think it's getting there in terms of the smarter people would have already understood what it is. And now it's just going to take a little bit longer for the dumber people to understand this is a joke that we're all in on, and these promos are just you kind of mocking the ridiculousness of this. But then you get like serious in the ring. By the way, just to add to what Craig said about AEW, I'm watching like some of this now.
We'll tell people what they said.
And Moxley is looking pretty fat.
I haven't seen. I actually watched some of AEW the other week, but Moxley wasn't.
Did you notice how Craig said in the group that I don't know what's going on here, but these guys are getting like these guys are looking like they're getting really fat. Yeah. Do you know I did an exclusive story this week because I know you always like me to try and get them on here once they get a little bit older, so I can talk about them. And you think the listeners are really after this kind of these scoops. So Aleister Black, he was on the fence about where to sign with WWE or AEW. Oh wow! Because they did want to bring him back. Fucking hell, he almost got killed with a tombstone. I'm going to turn this off because I was just checking to see if it had downloaded. Fucking Carl Anderson almost just fucking killed Moxley with a fucked up tombstone. I don't know why they're hitting that in the middle of a match for no reason. But that's AEW. So Aleister Black was between the two companies, and they fired him. And he goes, look, I'm probably going to come back here because my wife's here, etc. He goes, I want to let you know, though, that I've already agreed to meet with them. I just want to hear what they have to say. He goes, but I'm pretty much very likely coming back here to WWE to be with my wife, right? So the show that he turns up to, which was the episode 92 of AEW, which was I believe was recorded on Wednesday the 7th of July. He's there for a meeting, the meeting that he'd already planned. He turns up to their TV. Do you know what he does? He signs on the day, right?
Yeah.
Contacts his wife and says, "I've signed." He goes, I'm going here. I'm signing on the day, and they're putting me on television. Do you know what his reasons were? More money.
Okay.
And an unbelievable backstage atmosphere, which involved nobody watching the wrestling.
Catering like a motherfucker.
A game, so they spend $5,000 a week on catering. He goes, it was the most unbelievable spread he'd ever seen. He said there was a physio room with masseuses and everything, a gaming room, a music room, a sports bar. These are legit reasons, right?
Yeah, it's a good work environment.
He said to me, it was like a really great work environment. So I actually checked this with some other people, including Drew, who I can mention here because there's no negativity that can be said about this at all, because this is Drew's attitude. Like, he's serious about wrestling. So I said to him, I go, "Do you know that Aleister Black went into this locker room and said this?" And Drew went to me, "There's no fucking way that someone like Kazarian and Chris Jericho is going to let that fly." So I was like, okay.
That's true.
So I was like, okay. So I then checked it again, and then I checked it on Vince's show. I run it through the stories with Russo this week, and I said, he goes, "How many stories?" Like, we were going, how long is this show going to get time out? So sometimes I say to him, I don't mention anything. I goes, "Yeah, I got loads of stuff this week." And sometimes I say to him, I got 5 things. So I goes, "So if we've done 3 stories and we're like 20 minutes in, we got to start talking more about the stories, right?" Yeah. So that's how me and Russo operate. So I goes to him this week, I got 5 stories, but I might have 6 stories. But one of them, I've been told, Drew McIntyre said to me, "No way." Like, no way. And he goes, and then Russo goes to me, he goes, "That's 100% a true story." He goes, because Conan, who's at AEW, told Disco the same thing. And he said, not related to Aleister Black, he just goes, backstage is an absolute joke, because he goes, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega just shut themselves off in a room and were watching the NBA and didn't watch any of the show.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
And they're involved in producing the show. And Kenny, and he didn't say it was a bad atmosphere or anything like that.
It's not good for growing.
No, he particularly alienated those 3. And he goes, they're actual producers on the show who were watching the NBA. So I goes, did he say anything about anything else? He goes, I didn't know. He goes, I don't know about the massage room. He goes, but I know about the catering and the music room and the gaming room. So I was like, okay, well, the massage room's obviously going to be there, because
I would think so. That helps you.
Yeah. So if the others are, so Aleister Black basically just said, this is a unbelievable backstage atmosphere, even though nobody watches them wrestle. So this is what I want to do, and this is just unbelievable, because this guy was so Mr. Social Justice Warrior and everything before, and now he's like, I just want to get paid more money. I goes, I want my back rubbed, and I want to fucking relax, play games, and eat ridiculous food. And then in light of that as well, getting round full circle, you wonder why these guys are so fat on TV now when the owner is putting out fucking massive spreads. And okay, I can understand it when it's prawns and salmon and steaks
and
or
chicken,
whatever. Yeah, but it's not that. It's fucking $5,000 a week, and it's fucking gourmet, and it's dessert and everything.
Really?
It's
Yikes!
So it's like a day. So I'm told it's a day spread, and around about when the end of the taping, I knew a whole new dinner comes in.
They're gorging themselves.
Yeah. So it's obviously it's one day a week, right? So maybe you make that your fucking cheat day. But also
But Jesus, before you perform.
Exactly. People blow. You may not even be as fat as you look when you're on TV, but that's the whole point of working out, is to not look fat. I can look like fucking 10 pounds heavier if you give me the right food.
Oh yeah, quickly.
Yeah, like tomorrow night, like I'll fucking sit there watching the Money in the Bank. Umar will be here again, despite like my racist ranting.
He bringing a sleeping bag?
Who, Umar?
Yes. Because that shit's late for you guys, man. That ain't. I mean, it's 5 o'clock for me. Fuck.
No, he managed to get through Mania. He lives like 5 minutes away. He's 2 miles away.
Okay.
So like we're right by each other. But yeah, like there was some talk this week in the chat about black privilege and how ridiculous it was that these 3 guys that missed penalties for England last week were getting away with it because they were black. And we debated that in our chat this week, but we're still friends because we're not snowflakes, and we can chat about all of our shit in our groups, and it's not like the fucking world of Twitter or whatever. It's not like where people like hate.
You can actually have an opinion.
Yeah, we actually haven't done a show since we destroyed H-Phone's life on Russo's show. We'll talk about it for a few minutes at the end, but yeah, so he'll be over. And what was I even saying? Oh yeah, about the food.
Yes.
Yeah. So like but by the time he leaves, like I will have that 10-pound look on me. So that's the thing. Like I don't understand these guys, and also it's an attitudinal thing where if you do eat, if your boss does lay out shit like that and whatnot, once you get like a taste for it, because I don't really believe in the cheat day thing. I believe you either go all in, and then you have like one meal or whatever. If your day is like broken up like that by things, and then once you get that taste in your mouth, I find it so hard to like not do it again the next day.
Yeah, you can't have one line of Coke.
No.
And
I find how I end up always breaking diets is I end up just having like 3-day binges and then 5 days back on and then 3 days off, and that's actually worse. You may as well just have one bad meal every day and like fucking and then have like you know what, you may as well have like 1,500 calories, have like a fucking 1,100 calorie McDonald's meal, and then eat fruit for the rest of the day, so you allow yourself to have the McDonald's. That actually works better than binging, because binging fucks up with your mindset, and that fat sticks because your body thinks that it's not getting it again, but it actually is getting it every 5 days you break the diet. So I don't know like what the mentality is, but Craig noticed it with no knowledge from this story. Like this story I'm telling you here now, and it's been on the date sheets for a few days. But yeah, I mean these guys are looking real fat, like loads of them. Like they're not looking in shape at all.
I have to look because I haven't seen Moxley in ages. I don't watch AEW. I did tweet about them yesterday though.
What did you say?
I said AEW's been doing live crowds for a few weeks, and in one shot, WWE showed them what a crowd looks like and fucking dwarfed them.
Well, that's the thing. Like they were doing it for weeks, but yesterday was a real feeling like, oh, crowds are back in wrestling.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Here you go. Here's the big leagues. It felt enormous. It was like a full fucking stadium. They haven't had probably a full fucking arena in ages anyway before this. So they had full. I was like, this is like a pay-per-view. It totally felt like a pay-per-view.
Well, they've been trying to have their crowd outside as well, so maybe that makes a difference to the sound. But also, I think years of experience with the miking and everything, and obviously they were sound assisted by at times with keeping the Thunderdome thing. But I don't think they were heavily assisted in that. I don't want to keep talking about that just because it's in my insider knowledge. I don't think it was highly relevant to yesterday. But yeah, it felt like the crowds were like properly back. I was going to say like bringing it back round to where we're at with people that look fatter. So Rey Mysterio is in this 6-man match with Dominic and Edge against the Usos and Roman, and he's got like some little baby gut now in those dungarees.
He's had for a while. Mysterio, Rey, right?
I think maybe he came from AEW catering yesterday and he came straight to the show because I don't know if he was having the normal WWE catering, unless they put on a fucking big WWE we're back spread. It's like
they give him chocolate cake.
Yeah, he goes like, I heard that fucking this is what the other company are doing, so we're doing it for one day only. So, yeah, I mean they have got new sets, new trucks, everything like that. Oh, I said one other story I wanted to say, which was really funny because I'll run through it very quickly. So WWE wanted to pay for these like new screens, and the new idea, like, for how they're going to do sponsorships for Nick Khan, not Tony Khan, the AEW guy, but they got Nick Khan in WWE. So, like, he's saying, we're going to try and integrate as much sponsorship onto the show as possible in terms of wrestlers using certain products or tie-ins, like the zombie tie-in that we had.
Yeah.
So they wanted to sell the Titantron to a company, but they only thought of the idea afterwards. So whereas they already had forwarded their what they wanted for a set to Samsung, right, and everything had already been agreed, they then called Samsung during the week when they were supposed to be making payments to them, and they were like, "Hey, we come up with this idea. Like, instead of us paying you, will you be interested in paying us? And we put your name on the screen."
Sure.
And then Samsung were like, "No." Like, how when you're in the midst of paying a bill, do you call up and go, "Hey, how about you use this idea of you paying us instead?"
So it'd be called like the Samsung Titantron.
Well, I didn't even know that. I think it just would have had Samsung on it somewhere, or they would have mentioned, like, the new to set here, the new TV is brought to you by Samsung, or the Samsung Tron, or I don't know how it was going to go, but it never got to that point because after ordering it, after basically ordering it all and coming to the point where it was all done, WWE then asked them if they were interested in paying them a fee for them to promote Samsung on the show. And in fact, they made everything. And then Samsung actually decided, no, we just rather just get, I mean, it was a small amount of money, like for WWE terms. I'm talking like in terms of, million and a half to get this made and pay them. But Samsung decided not to write off $1.5 million. They decided to have the $1.5 million instead, not seeing the monetary benefits of being announced. I don't know who's stupider here, WWE for not thinking of it before they asked for the stuff to be made, or Samsung for not going through with it or not seeing the benefits of it. I don't know who's dumber, but I definitely got told that this week, and I've been told that there's going to be like many tie-ins, and that was just one of the ones that didn't work this week. But I thought the fucking TV was really good, so I don't know why they wouldn't have wanted to take credit for it. But I mean, obviously they had to pay to say they made it, because now it's just going to remain behind closed doors.
So let's run through the card for the pay-per-view on Sunday.
Well, we finished SmackDown.
I think so. I mean, do you have anything else for SmackDown you want?
Well, I think just generally,
my Bailey prediction didn't happen. I was very sad.
No, because she's really injured.
I'm like, because I saw the other day she was in a hospital bed with a picture, and I go, But then her sister posted a picture with her, and I go, so what the fuck is this? I really think that would have been great. I think she should have muscled through the fucking tear, had the matches, had her head shaved, and then go away, because she just had her head shaved. She can go away off TV and not show her head.
How do you muscle through the tear, though?
I did. I never got surgery. I mean, you're gonna limp around, but eventually you're normal.
Yeah, but it must have been pretty significant. I don't think it would have been a minor tear. I think she would have just gone through the match. I'm not sure. I guess you can't really risk these. I guess they don't let you do these things these days. But I'm sure, like, if it had been a Roman or somebody, they would have worked through at least to drop the belt. I don't think they would have like stripped him of it. Yeah. Obviously, like, she's the challenger as well, so that's a little bit different as well. But yeah, I mean, as for the rest of the show, I thought they lost momentum. I thought Sammy out there was fine. I thought everybody was pretty pumped for Balor coming back, but we'll see where it goes. I thought the main event could have been stronger. I thought you could have done with something with a big pop at the end as well. But obviously there's nothing you can do. Rollins has gone up and got the Money in the Bank. I think the only thing you could have done was, when Rollins was going up there, is sent out the Raw guys. I think they would have got a big pop if all eight Money in the Bank guys, like maybe Drew, like being the last one. That's the only thing you could have done. I think that you could have done with that last match. But other than that, I think after Finn Balor came out, and ironically, it was when you started putting women out there with like Shotzi and Knox, which she no longer has a first name.
They couldn't decide last week, though. You notice they started calling her Tegan, and now it's not at all.
She's particularly very much with the whole hand symbols and
with the hang loose,
and jumping around head and cartwheels and hitting loads of moves that don't look like they hit you. Like, she's very like hit and miss. So yeah, I'm not sure how she's going to do. But yeah, I mean, just
I don't know how Carmella's tits don't fall out. When she gets laid on, I'm always waiting for that after the kick out, like they fall out.
It must just be some really good tit tape. But I'm not like I do think that stuff kind of like started to go south here because you had a period of that women's tag match, which was definitely slowing things down, and then Carmella and Bianca main event, like the end of the first hour and second hour. But you know who's winning too much. But the other thing is, I look at these two, and you know you're aligned with Fox, and you're a major company and stuff. Like, you've got to have someone like Carmella with the belt, because over on Raw you've got Rhea Ripley, and over here you've got like Bianca. But in the company you've got Mandy and Sasha, and Becky's coming back, and you had Lana, but she's gone now. I mean, Eva Marie. You've got these people. Like, you have to have one champion who's attractive, and through NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, you don't have anybody at all who you look at and think, okay, we're putting them on shit because they're the champion. I think Becky was the perfect like mix, and obviously when Sasha's the champion as well, but obviously Becky is more over. She can work babyface. Sasha just refuses to do it. Even when she was a babyface, she was laughing at people. So yeah. I just don't think that there's a good person in there. So I think it's impossible for her to even like generate one, like even like relate to one, or even like sort of pull back to any percentage of her that's good, because she's just naturally just not a likable person. So Toni Storm will be interesting to see if she comes in as a heel or a face, because I think she would be a good baby face and someone that you can stick on things, because it would be just up to like, you know, her tits and shoulders. Yeah. I think once you go any lower down, I don't know, it depends if you like that big fat ass.
She looks like a, you know, she's one of those like, you know, punching bags that bounce back up, like she bottom heavy. Yeah.
But she's like amazing to look at. I think if you just put her head and shoulders,
very pretty,
posters and things. Yeah. So,
and that video of her was really good too.
But Bianca doesn't do it for me. Carmella like 100% like does it for me completely. And I'm just looking at her thinking, you should be like the champion. You should be on a more prominent position. Like you are the closest at the moment to somebody that, Sasha's not there, but you're the closest to someone that. I don't notice loads of mistakes, and I don't notice anything that she does. She's not great, but she's not shit. Like, she's not fucking clunky or shitty or misses loads of stuff or has a weird like girl run and all this kind of stuff. So
how about that picture I sent you earlier in the week from 6 years ago?
Yeah, but
how about that? Like you couldn't tell it was her.
Oh, look at Peyton Royce though. Like,
yeah, that's ridiculous.
So after this, then we get Otis and Cesaro stuff. That was a real low point for me because it didn't even have a finish.
By the way, just to go back real quick for a second, how fucking annoying was it with the two girls at the commentary? It was painful because they were acting like themselves, I think, with Liv and Zelina.
Yeah.
Like mouthing off, and it was like they were doing it off script almost, and you're like, ooh, God, that was fucking annoying.
I don't know where you go with Liv from this point, because
I think she wins the Money in the Bank is what I'm figuring.
I agree almost. If you didn't have Alexa in it, I think Liv would definitely win. But I just feel that what do you do with her?
I think she finally cashes in and wins it. But, I mean, it was the whole she couldn't get in forever. And then finally, you know, she has to kill everyone to finally get in.
But how long has she worked there? How long has she worked there in the main roster? 5-6 years?
Yeah, something like that.
She can't talk still, like, at all. Like, she can't talk at all. She can't cut any promo at all.
they don't do her a service with, let's change her into this for 4 seconds and put her back with Ruby. They fuck her pretty much. But I do
even
get the
promo
talking
on the little box when she's all like Miss Sarcastic and then Miss Smiley, but also sarcastic. She goes, "I'm gonna like you. I don't think you're a 10. I think you're a 6. But I'm gonna like beat your face. I'm gonna like turn your face into an 8." It's like, who's writing this? Who's writing this shit for you? And then you like smile about it. Like I don't know if she's trying to be. Look, if you're trying to be cute, then just go like cute. If you're trying to add an edge, then add an edge. Like she can't be edgy, cute, stupid. Like it just.
She is
it's
cute
just,
though. She is cute.
But they don't know what to do with her.
Yeah.
The only thing the person that sounded like they knew what to do with her was Heyman. So I don't know if he's in the same building. Like, so maybe someone wants to bounce some ideas off what to do with Liv Morgan. But I don't think, for me, she's not a babyface. She's not like at the point where Becky, when Becky turned heel, when Becky didn't win the title and then she turned heel, she got a massive cheer because they were desperate for her to win. They were finally like, we like Becky so much, she needs to win. Yeah. And then she turned heel, and then they cheered her as a heel. And she was a heel for like fucking 2 months, if you remember. And they had to turn her back after Nia busted her face up. And, then they put her into the main event. Like, she was properly ready. Like, people were fed up of seeing her lose. I don't think you have that with Liv. I don't think people are going to, like, massively reject it if she comes up short this weekend and then continues to come up short or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be noticed.
I also feel, looking around at the net, people are like still blindly in love with Alexa Bliss. They're still they don't look at how bad this is, how this is a rip-off of The Fiend, how shit the promos are, how shit the dolls were, how shit she looks, how pedophiles are buying
the doll gone now?
Yeah. Because it was so unpopular.
Wow, it just disappears. Holy shit.
She's doing fucking $800 cameos for men.
That's amazing.
On swings. Like being a fucking little girl on the swing. It's like, hi, Derek Montilla.
Thanks for your $800. I'm in the fucking playground. Oof. Can you imagine?
$800.
That's
like,
insane.
To have her say
my name, yeah. And the funny thing is,
kid on a swing.
You go, okay, so if another guy's name is Derek, then you use that and say, oh, okay, she said my name, but does that not count because it's not really pointed toward me? I mean, she didn't even say the guy's last name.
And that's the thing, like, I'm really near, like, a kid's park. Like, do you think I could get 400 if I can get some kids to say other men's names?
Oh, man. And you know what's, it's so phony when they have to like shoehorn a person's full name into it. Hi, Billy Body. I'm Alexa. It's like, I'm talking to you, Billy Body. Please look. It's me. I'm mentioning you. One of those. So, because in a normal video, you'd just be like, "Hey, how's it going?"
Fuck me. You know what I would do? I'd sell more. If you just sold them for like 600 or 500, I would just fucking go on there and I'd be like, "Hi, Cav. Hi, Nick. Hi, Billy. Hi, Steve."
Oh, yeah.
And film all the names
put them in.
And then just edit the second bit together and then send it home. But I don't think it's a time thing. I think it's a case of, I don't think they give a shit how long it takes. I think they can get $800. And they have.
You should put yourself on Cameo just for shits for $50 and be like, from Big Brother, Billy Body. I bet you would get some fucking weirdos that fucking, so you could say, hi, George. I'm Billy. $50 a pop.
The only way it would work is if I just go on there and fucking roast you.
You know what? And that's what you say. That's your special. That's what you'll do to people. I only roast. Send me a picture of the person.
Russo's on there. I'll see how I can ask how he does.
Oh yeah, I mean, geez, I could look him up and find out how much he's how much you want to make bets.
I think he's $35.
$35 for him to say, "Hey, bro."
I think you can check. I'm not sure.
I'm gonna check. All right, so we'll go on. I'll look it up while you go on to the match. The one thing I'll mention with the Otis deal, it is good that they've made him like the powerhouse pissed off guy. However, he has such a personality, and it's like, well, now that's waste. So what do you do? Because that's what got him so fucking popular. He was so fucking over being Mr. fucking personality. But I guess that doesn't get you, top of the fucking line with, championship or whatever. But the guy's also 5'8" and 300 fucking pounds. It's hard to, look at that as dominating.
Yeah, I think people look past the 5'8" thing somewhat.
I mean, but
I
don't know. When somebody's towering over you,
Yeah, I feel like I've never really noticed it. But I mean, not never ever. I know about it, but I never feel like he's been in a position where it's been like, oh, we're doing. Let me think. Shit, yeah, there's no example. We're doing Otis and who else? Otis and Kane or someone like that, where Kane would be noticeably bigger. But when we do Otis and Cesaro, Cesaro will be about 4 or 5 inches taller than him. Yeah, because they never was back in the day when you're trying to do Earthquake and Yokozuna in a battle royal. They both look like tall and big or whatever.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't really make a difference. But actually, if you did Otis and Yokozuna in this situation, Yoko would be that
Eclipse
7
him.
inches. Yeah, would be 7 inches taller than him as well. And you never regard him to be like a tall guy.
No, because I always expect them all, like, they're all almost the same height except for the Giants. So you figure they're all like 6'5". That's what I assume they all are. By the way, Russo's $50.
Oh, why did I think it was maybe 35 pounds? Yeah. So you want to preview Money in the Bank?
Yeah.
You don't have anything else to say about SmackDown?
No.
We just agree that it sort of became more normalized at the same point.
Yeah, toward the end it got normal. But still good. I mean, normal for them is good for me. So, in crowd energy, shit like that is fine. And that's what I was looking for, and that's what I got.
So, where do we begin? We'll finish with the men's match, so we'll start with the women's match.
Okay, well, like I said, I think Liv's going to win this. I really don't think Alexa does this yet. It's like Bruce always said. She has a gimmick. She doesn't need the title. One of those deals. And I think she can get a title shot whenever the fuck she wants anyway. It's like Liv can't climb up the ladder, so that's how she needs to get a title shot.
Do you think there's any... I'm just going on the loudspeaker so I can look
It's
at
better.
the bet. Well, that's better.
Yeah.
Oh, usually you tell me this is worse.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, it wasn't horrible before, but yeah, it's good.
This is far more comfortable for me to do the show like
Perfect.
this. But I'm actually on here looking at the betting odds just because I wanted to see who they have as the favorite. But I feel like...
God, I wish I could bet on that over here. It drives me crazy. I'm like, man, I would put good money on shit too. And it's not like I could go through you really, because you're not allowed to they got a cap on you and you bet yourself. And I understand. Yeah, you make your own money.
My main concern here is that Nikki Cross wins it, and I really don't want that to happen.
First one to lose when she cashes in.
Yeah. But I think that I think that the storyline that they're going to do, I think both of the Money in the Bank winners on this show are going to come from existing storylines on TV. And I know what those storylines are. I know what the men's storyline is. I know how the men's match has been booked, and I'll talk about that when we get to the men's side. But following on from what I know about the men's match, I think that the women's match will be consistent with that, and Liv has a story on TV, so Liv will win. The only way Liv doesn't win is if the inclusion of Natalya and Tamina isn't real. So, for example, they get injured or whatever, and Sonya says, "Oh, I'm going to replace her myself." You know what I mean? Because she's got the power, and it gets her out of that role as well. So I would think Sonya Deville is the or a Becky or someone like that is the X Factor, or even a Sasha. So
it would make sense with Becky because she gave away the belt for Money in the Bank.
Right.
Yeah, it really would.
So for me, other would be the second favorite as opposed to Alexa, who's the betting favorite. But I would go with Liv Morgan. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So before we'll finish with the men's match, as I said. So we'll go with Kofi and Lashley.
Okay, Kofi and Lashley. You know what it needs to be, and it's not going to be. It needs to be like how Brock beat Kofi. It needs to just be a whooping because I loved the end of Raw last week. It took me, by the way, 4 days to watch Raw. 4 days, Billy. I only saw the ending on Monday because I was watching Home Run Derby. And then each day I watched some and didn't get through it. But him being pissed off because he lost and being like, fuck this, like Rocky, you got to get back to your fucking, roots here and go. I really liked it. And I like he didn't attack MVP. Like, he's like, I'm still friends with you and everything like that. And, thanks for everything, but none of this bullshit anymore. So it was way more realistic that he's angry from this. And that should light a fire under him and he should beat Kofi in 4 seconds and be a fucking dominant monster. I think they're going to make him have a fucking actual match, which, it's just for Kofi not to look like a fucking asshole because all this talk and then Kofi loses in 4 seconds. So, but I'm, of course, Lashley's going to win.
Yeah, I agree. I got nothing more to add to that. Everything I have to add to that will come when we talk about Money in the Bank.
Do we have, and Goldberg's supposed to show up for like SummerSlam, right? Against Lashley? Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So then we have Styles and Omos against the Viking Raiders and AJ.
Oh, this I really don't care about at all.
Why did I say it like that? I said Styles and Omos against the Viking Raiders and AJ. AJ and Omos against the Viking Raiders.
I don't like the Viking Raiders at all. I laughed that one of them's name is Ivar, which is kind of a Vikingish name. The other one's Eric. And like when they introduce them, like when they're doing a singles match, they do Ivar, and the other one's like Eric.
The thing is,
oh my god!
The thing is Eric is more of a Viking name than Ivar.
Yeah, but it's just you can't have that be a fucking and it's only one name. I'm Eric. I mean, it's just fucking awful. Ivar at least sounds like something.
Ivar is, but not the way they spell it. But Eric with a K would be, yeah, but they don't spell it like that either.
They don't say it with a K? I swear, I think they do it with a K.
Oh, that's right then. That's fine. Yeah, I think AJ and Almas win this match. I think they're heading towards Riddle and Orton at some point.
I'll agree with you. And the only thing that makes me like wonder a little bit is I'm almost thinking they want to give the live crowd a title change. And where can you do it?
Next match.
What's next?
Charlotte and Rhea Ripley.
Oh, you think already that changes?
I don't know. Like it's a very. I mean, you got Usos and Ray and Dominic on the free show.
After the Usos pin them, I always have to go. Well, obviously, then the other team wins.
Yeah. Plus, it's on the free show, so you can keep that going a bit longer. Like you can have the baby faces win on the free show, but I don't know. These crowds are weird. Like they might cheer the Usos. So
I think I would. I mean, I don't hate Mysterio and Dominic. I enjoy Dominic. I think he's good, and he's going to be a good wrestler eventually too.
I think they should lose because Jimmy isn't sober, and then
punishment.
And then Roman says to him, he goes, "You need to stop this shit." Slaps him around a bit, tells him that if he doesn't win the titles, if he doesn't sober up, he's out. And I think that'll be a good storyline.
That is pretty fucking good. And that's the one who got in trouble is Naomi's husband, right? One who just came back.
Yeah, it's her bullshit that makes him drink.
I just can never tell. I don't know whose name is what practically, and I'm always like, is that the fucking guy who was just hurt? He's the more of a personality too, which is fun.
Yeah, you're getting married next year. The year after, you'll know it's always going to be the.
I'm going to be drinking.
The married guy is more likely to be a depressed alcoholic. Look at all these wrestling fans. They're not drunks. They're all like single virgins.
Yeah,
so
they're having a great time.
Right.
They're drinking soda.
Charlotte
and Rhea.
What?
Charlotte and Rhea.
Yeah, I thought you said Maria.
No.
Yeah, this is complete even for betting. So,
Ooh, I think this still gets pushed into SummerSlam. I mean, you're almost like you're right there to SummerSlam. Even though Money in the Bank, I mean, that's the specialty. That's what this pay-per-view is.
for me, the way this match goes, it's just a case of, have we overdone Charlotte and Becky Lynch, or has it been so long since Becky's even been here, and because of the whole pandemic or anything, will anybody even remember? So shall we just put together the wrestler that can talk, that is experienced, that can have a good match with Becky, and just do that at SummerSlam? Or do we go with this newcomer that nobody gives a fuck about, and she's had really bad matches consistently on the main roster, and do we give her this big match with Becky? Also, they've noticed they've not committed to any one of these being the actual heel. So to me, it just says the heel is the one that wins and just loses to Becky.
Yeah, I'm like, would they give it to Charlotte to lose the very next fucking month? Because obviously they want her to have it 20 times.
They're trying to make her a fucking 16 times
before her
champion
dad's dead.
Yeah, so
fuck.
Race against time.
Yeah, I just think there's a bullshit end, and maybe even it turns into a 3-way at fucking SummerSlam. So it is Becky against the two of them, basically. She if she's Money in the Bank, and she can cash in.
Yeah, I mean, Ripley's a fresher match, but and you can get back round to Charlotte afterwards because she'll always get more title shots. But I don't know. I think just because Ripley's the fresher match, but if they don't give Ripley the win here, it's really difficult to see her like recovering from this.
How do they keep on going? Like how many title shots is this going to be in a row?
I don't think you'll see this match again. I think this match ends at this pay-per-view. Roman and Edge.
Roman, of course. I don't know. There has to be a semi. Well, you know what? I maybe take that back because I was thinking, okay, there's got to be a bullshit way that Roman pulls this out because you're injuring Edge by, him losing clean. However, they do not make Roman look like a push champion. He's dominant champion. He fucking pinned both of them at the same time at Mania. So there was no, I snuck out a win. He fucking smashed them and stacked them.
So I feel what's going to happen here is that the Usos are going to lose on the free show.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to tell them to go home because he's really he doesn't need them hanging around.
Yeah.
Right. So in the match, because they're not there, Edge is going to have it won, and Seth Rollins is going to interfere because he already lost Money in the Bank earlier on.
Yeah, and because you said that's supposed to be the next program too, right? Is Edge and Seth, and we saw a little on SmackDown.
Yeah, that's next. The two main matches from SmackDown are that one and Roman and Cena, which starts next Friday. Sorry.
Okay, Roman and Cena for SummerSlam, and that could be to. You know what? And that's a good storyline if they say this is to break the 16 times.
Yeah.
Okay. How many? I tried to look it up, and I didn't take too much time. How many times has Roman been champion? Is it only like 5 then? Maybe.
Oh God, off the top of my head.
5th time.
5th time. He's all right. So let me just think about this. So by the time he won it at WrestleMania 32, that was the 3rd time he'd won it, because he won some fucking mini tournament thing when Seth Rollins gave it up. Then Sheamus cashed in on him and he won it straight back, and then he won it off Triple H, and then he dropped it because he failed like a drug thing, and they were like moving him down the card. They were moving him down a bit. And he was like US champion and stuff. But then they were like supposed to bring him up to beat Brock. And then like they took ages with that as well because what was going on with that? Yeah, because Brock didn't win. Brock beat him at 34. Brock beat him at Saudi Arabia. Then Roman won it for the fourth time, and it was first Universal title belt, and he got cancer. Or he had to get that treatment again, and then he won it, and then he didn't win it on that whole comeback. He just won it with this time where he turned heel. So I think he's 3-time WWE champion and 2-time Universal champion.
I've looked this up. Reigns is a 4-time world champion in WWE, has held the WWE Championship 3 times and Universal Championship once.
That's not right.
So this last one is number 2. So this is an old thing. So he's held Universal twice then, right?
Yeah, because the Universal's what he gave up.
Yeah, and it's 5 times.
Yeah, so what are you looking at this wrong?
I just typed into Google, how many times has he been champion? And that's the first thing that comes up.
All right, so they obviously haven't included the latest one.
Yeah.
But he's also had like black belt, red belt, blue belt, which not a lot of people have had.
Yeah, no kidding. I would think they would also have this on, oh yeah, here it is. WWE.com would have it too. You think because they got all their shit on there. But that's going to be a while to look up, so forget that one. All right, so
I don't think he's he's won the he's won everything. He hasn't won the money. He's won the Royal Rumble. He hasn't won Money in the Bank. I don't think he's won Money in the Bank. I think he's won everything else, apart from Money in the Bank. So I think he wins, something to do with Seth Rollins, and I don't think this is the last match.
Okay.
Sorry, I do think this is the last match. I don't think Money in the Bank is the last match, despite the order that me and Cav have done this in.
That makes sense. Yeah, and then so that's the end of the pay-per-view. That's it.
No, we ain't done the men's match because we saved it to last.
Okay. That one is actually a hard one for me. I'm just like, please don't be Drew. Fucking, because I guess Jinder will interfere in that, so that'll fucking kill that right away. Who is name the people in this match?
All right, so in order of like the odds, it's Matt Riddle, Big E, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Nakamura, Ricochet, and John Morrison.
Wow, that is rough.
I know who they have as their 2 potential winners, but they don't. Well, I know 3 scenarios they were considering.
So the Riddle thing could be a good story because Randy's jealous and pissed off. That's interesting. God, I throw Drew right out because of the fucking thing with Jinder. And I'm like, who the fuck else would even... God damn. That is, you know what? It's difficult. Tell me what you got.
Okay, so here's what they wanted to do. I'll give you the whole story. Because obviously Money in the Bank's like tomorrow. So
and I have a history for today too, by the way. 10 years ago today, what happened?
10 years ago today. Was it Bash at the Beach?
No.
Oh.
I mean, maybe, but that's not what I'm looking at.
10 years ago today. 16.
No, that Bash at the Beach is like 25 now or something like that. They just celebrated that the other week or something.
Oh,
NWO
sorry.
week, you know.
Sorry, I just thought you were just asking me what was the anniversary. Oh, so 10 years today. What year is it? 2011.
Yeah.
Was it the Nexus thing?
It was Punk blowing a kiss to Vince after he won the title and left the arena.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The good old days. Put the title in his fridge.
For some reason that question has not registered me correctly at all. I'm still looking for fucking anniversaries for some shit, which you clearly said exactly 10 years ago. Yeah. So it's only like 2011. Like I don't know why. I actually.
But you jumped down to 2001, right? Everyone always skips those fucking those middle numbers.
I went to 2000 and fucking 2010 where the Nexus was instead. Because I didn't even remember what year this was. But yeah, I don't think I would have got it. I know the pipe bomb was on the 27th of June, I believe. I think it's 27th. So yeah, that would have made sense if I'd taken some time. But anyway, this match.
Mm-hmm.
So original idea, which Vince was talked out of, was Vince McMahon just wanted John Cena to come on yesterday's show.
Yeah.
And announce that he would be in it and win it and say that he was facing Roman at SummerSlam. So he wanted a clear, simple route like that for the matchup. So he was talked out of this by writers and people and saying that, there's loads of guys who want to do stuff with, and this is going to be real helpful, and John Cena doesn't need it, etc. So you can talk him down when an idea is really stupid, and this idea was really stupid to make Cena a Money in the Bank winner again.
Yeah.
So as far as I know, that isn't happening. Like, there isn't. I think in the women's match, you're more likely to see someone get injured, come in, do some sort of angle or whatever. But in this match, you're not going to.
Mm-hmm.
So as for the ideas they had for people, so the number one idea, which they're booking on TV, which I said was consistent with Liv having the TV story. Mm-hmm. The TV story is also going on for the main idea, the boring idea, which is for Bobby Lashley to destroy the New Day over the coming weeks, and obviously on this show as well, and for Big E to move to Raw and cash in on him.
Mm.
It's fucking boring as fuck, but that is the number one idea. And
At least
can
there's
see
a
it on
story.
Right. So basically, he is the New Day member that comes in and wins it.
And that's the only way to get him over with his buddies. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. And so that will not. Whereas it will look like 2 SmackDown winners, it will not be, because E will be moving over. So the troll,
and he
idea,
did lose yesterday.
Right.
He was pinned.
Oh, yeah. So the other more interesting idea, which was pitched really from people that are aware of what's going on in the internet more than Vince McMahon, was to have Matt Riddle cash in on Bill Goldberg, which they feel,
my God!
which they feel which will create a lot of buzz.
But my God! I'm already buzzing. Woof.
And the WWE are trying to determine whether enough people have an awareness of that or not. So this could happen, but it's not supposed to happen. Riddle is the favorite, which is weird to me. How that came about, because that says to me that there's more talk about this than I've been told, because I've been told it's out there. A few of the younger hip writers are kind of trying to sell it, but they're not really respected people who can get an idea as big as Money in the Bank over the line.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely out there. It's definitely out there for Goldberg to win and for Riddle to cash in on him and to test if because look, this is Goldberg's last match of a 6-match deal for $6 million, where he's done 2 matches a year, right?
Yeah.
So he ain't gonna get that deal again unless he properly sucks some dick.
Yeah.
So they are gonna say, how much do you want this, Bill? How much do you want to do a couple more Saudi shows and whatever? Sure. Like, how much do you want this? How much do you want $6 million for 6 minutes work? Because that's his matches. So
what you imagine having that? Oh my God, they'd be like, all right, I'm just gonna work for a day.
Yeah, I don't even think he'll win it back. I think very quickly when Riddle is champion, if they do this, Lashley will just beat him and get to Brock, right? Whereas the Big E thing, I think he'll be champion for a few months longer, but ultimately lose to Lashley or Brock so they can face each other. So whoever this is,
I'd like Brock and Lashley. That's a really good one.
Well, that's what they're getting to. So whoever, yeah. So whoever they get to here, whoever they pick out of, well, it's not Mania, because the priority is what Roman's doing. And if The Rock doesn't sign up to do WrestleMania, then Brock Lesnar has to face Roman Reigns.
Oh, God. You imagine if we get Brock Lashley, Rock, Roman. That's a fucking WrestleMania. Oh my goodness.
Or the alternative is if you can't get Rock onto the show, Brock Lesnar comes in as the backup plan. So they're not putting him on TV.
And what does Heyman do?
That's the whole story. The whole story is to have Brock Lesnar win the Royal Rumble and to have Paul Heyman decide who he's going to and so he's going to
He's
try
Elizabeth.
yeah, and obviously the whole idea will be, oh, Brock, you go to Raw, we dominate both brands, and then he doesn't. That's obviously going to be the story. But the thing is that that's also the story if Rock does do it, because Brock will still win the Royal Rumble, right?
Yeah,
and then he'll just choose Lashley, and then Rock will come in and face Roman. So I think Brock Lesnar's winning the Royal Rumble anyway, because he's facing Lashley. Or he's facing Roman Reigns. Like, he's in the title match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, see, this is some good stuff. This is the show right here.
So so in regards to this Money in the Bank winner, it's just a case of who keeps Lashley busy over the NFL season when they're going to have a little bit of a drop off. And I feel they will, and they've already started with these Liv Morgan and Big E stories on TV. And I don't think they'll change anything. But whoever those people are that are saying have Riddle beat Goldberg, like that to me is like, I need to see that in my head where he comes in and fucking hits his finisher on Goldberg and pins him, and Goldberg has to lie down for it.
I know. Wow. Money over bitches, my friend. MOB. No problem. I'll let Derek Montilla fucking put his foot on my chest. You're gonna pay me. Fuck you.
But that's the thing, like, but is the recognition of the moment like high enough among people to really appreciate what happened there? Because he fucking hates Matt Riddle.
Oh man, or does he really hate Matt Riddle? I mean, I don't know. I think in the business everybody knows everything's bullshit.
They've not been setting this up for 2 years for a Money in the Bank cash-in they didn't know was happening.
Oh man, that's some good shit. That's good shit. Oh man, got me excited. Now I'm really interested in who the hell wins this thing.
But I think most of the internet are only picking, like, I only see them picking two guys. They're going, oh, Rollins is cashing in on Edge, and then they're going to be the title match at SummerSlam.
Really, people? That's what they're thinking. They're out of their minds.
Yeah, well, they think like Cena and Roman's going to be a regular.
Oh Jesus.
They're saying like, oh, like that match obviously doesn't need the title, and Roman can go and get it afterwards. It's like, what are you talking about?
Why would you?
They're not breaking up this reign so he can just go and face Cena in a pointless match again. Like, that doesn't make sense to me how these people think. The other theory is like, oh, it's just going to be Drew again, and like there's a theory that he'll because he can't cash in on Lashley, that he'll help Kofi win, and he'll cash in on him and turn him. But it's like there's no way they're going back to Drew, and they're not going back to him as a heel.
Yeah, right. They finally get an audience, and they do that.
Yeah, it's just too quick. I mean, there's other theories like Drew can cash in on Goldberg. There's loads of like theories, but most of them center around Rollins and Drew because they're the stars in this match.
Yeah.
But I think that defeats the point of why people were lobbying not to have Cena win the match, and why you possibly don't bring back Becky or Sasha to get into their match, because when they come back, they're going to be absolutely fine anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Sasha ever comes back, I mean, she'll have to get vaccinated, but I don't think that she's going to at the moment. So I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting this week. But I think prepare yourself for Big E and Liv.
Okay, that's good. All right, that's how we're gonna be done with this, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you got your fix from the wrestling show. I know you've. This was a really good one, Billy. All that inside and rumors and innuendo stuff is fantastic.
Thing, we still get messages from people going, "Where's the show this week? When's the show coming?"
I got a message from somebody who goes, I guess Billy's really done with wrestling. I go, oh, he's disgusted by it, but we're doing, our preview show tomorrow. and the guy checked out my show, so I said, oh, good for you. I go, hey, you should check out my Patreon. There's a wrestling review show on there if you want a wrestling review show. Patreon.com/LingisMafia. You can listen. My guy named Dijon. He's a Canadian. I've sent you the show before. And he does an NBA show, which is the one I want you to do on that.
Oh,
Russo tier. Yeah.
So do you think he'll, like, if you can't do the show, does he record as well?
Oh, he would. He totally would. And he's East Coast, so you'd probably have a better fucking time. And And he puts all this together. He puts in the clips and everything like that. He goes all out. He's really good.
So if you don't want to do, so you'll do next week's show where we'll talk about the Money in the Bank results.
Yeah.
And then rather than going on the 2-week break or 3-week break, I think, 3-week break it will be. He'll fill in for that period.
I bet you anything he would, and he would do it weekly with you if you wanted to do it. I'll ask him, but I would. I mean, don't quote me yet. We haven't asked the man, but yeah, I mean, he watches and does all that. So.
There's more people there, and people are sluts for the viewership. So,
and then they can't say you're racist. He's a black guy. See, you're working with a black guy. You could shock them into submission right there. The ethnic wrestling show.
There's a black guy coming round my house tomorrow.
What to do? What case the joint?
No, he's thinking of watching the fucking wrestling. I've already said
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's, going to be rooting for Apollo the whole time to show up, so. All right, ladies and gentlemen, go see all of my stuff. It's at Lingus Mafia. I do a lot of nonsense, and we're going to have big announcements for August, what's going on over there. And the 32 Days of Lingus is coming back. If you know, you know. Billy's at SGP Soccer on Twitter. And that's where you want to see all of his nonsense. And what about for betting packages? Because you want to get in on this if you're able to bet. You want to get in. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah. So, I mean, everything I've said on here, I don't know yet. As times get closer, my women's match is very much a guess. My men's stuff is off information because it's easier for me to get that. But everything I'll know by tomorrow, and you'll be able to bet on it. By heading over to either lockbetting.com if you want all sports, which I would actually not recommend getting until August the 1st because there isn't much going on. I haven't started preparing my soccer futures and my NFL futures yet. Mainly start doing those towards the end of the month and they'll be out for August. So I would just go to the dirtysheets.com. That's the place for all the wrestling news. You can get that for just $5 a month, or for $40 you can get picks for every wrestling show, every AEW show, every WWE show, and all the UFC cards as well. Last weekend, I had a sweep in the UFC, taking Cormier to beat that fucking Irish fraud. So that was
who Aiden backs.
Oh yeah, he backs him. Like he goes, I still back him. The guy was on there going, I've had one loss. Submissions don't count. It's like you're quitting. You're quitting before someone stops you from breathing. How is that not a fucking loss? So yeah, the dirtysheets.com is the place to go. I'm also on Vince Russo's show every Friday, which comes there. The pay show comes out on Saturday. The
podcast on a poll is on Monday.
And yeah, well, I keep advertising that as the same day as Money in the Bank. So you need to tell me what's going on.
It's always the day after. It's always the day after.
So I'm going to write you 2 descriptions now as we come off the air.
Okay.
Just one thing about Podcast and a Poll. The Patreon is podcastandapole.com. On the Patreon page, podcastandapole.com, there's all the Spotlight profiles. So the show that we do with Vince, that goes up on there as well in video form. So that's one bonus. The other bonus is all the fucking Spotlight profiles. So these are the shows that Bruce and Conrad do where they talk about one particular wrestler. We do that with Vince. So we've done that for Linda McMahon, Ultimate Warrior, Sid, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Vader. We have Ahmed Johnson coming out. We've delayed that show so that we can talk about an Ahmed Johnson interview that came out. So it's much more beneficial that show didn't come out as scheduled a week ago. It's coming out this week. And then you'll only have to wait one more week for the Ron Simmons show as well. So lots of stuff coming out there. I'm back. I'm on less meds from my broken leg. So me and Cav are still going to do a show where we I forgot the name of that show. Do we end up calling it Podcast and a Pole Reloaded, or do we call it something else?
I don't know. What the hell? I mean, we call this the wrestling show. What the fuck do we care?
But what did we call that bonus show we did for Podcast and a Pole?
Was it the review show? No.
It was Reloaded or Extra.
I think there you go. Yes, it's Extra.
Right. So it's extra and it's called Extra. So like he literally the least thought that could go into a name, but I knew that was the one we chose. So yeah, Podcast and a Poll Extra. We're going to be back at that this week, so we'll drop that as well. So loads of content coming up on podcastandapoll.com. And as we mentioned, Irish morons. There is one that seems to have disappeared from our lives. I don't know where he went to. I honestly feel
he's still just tweeting to all the wrestlers with positivity, saying how glorious their work is.
But he did not address his burial by a
No.
10-year-old.
He's never going to address that. He's embarrassed. He got fucking buried by a 10-year-old. What's he going to say?
And that's the thing. Like, everybody, pretty much ignore. I was expecting, like, when you go down that route, there's going to be some snowflakery about it where they turn around and go, oh, you really should get your kid involved, or
you're picking on a retard.
Your kid shouldn't really say. It's like, no, like my kid.
He's the one who got your kid involved, so okay,
right, exactly.
He started it, he'll finish it.
Yeah, but it's the whole thing of like, oh, you should be letting your kid know this is all going on or whatever. It's like my kid knows what's been going on with a lot of things for a long time. Like, that's the thing. Like, if you're involved with if you have a parent who's involved in these things, there needs to be some acknowledgement and know-how in terms of how my dad's like mood will swing about a specific thing. Like, why is he pissed off when he's reading his phone? Like, why am I not getting his attention at that point? Like, and there's been instances where I've sat around and goes, oh, why are you in a mood or whatever? It'd be like, oh, because this guy said this or whatever. Like, he's not like a fucking normal dipshit 10-year-old. Like, he's on there with his own social media, doing his own thing, like, running his own Instagram successfully, which has real replies and everything. Unlike this fucking,
he's not yelling at a wall.
Yeah, he's not yelling at a wall. So he knows what he wants to do, and he knows the pitfalls of, look, before you start an Instagram, before you start a YouTube, before you start a gaming channel, wrestling channel, whatever you want to do, if the awareness is there from when he was like 8 years old. There's fucking idiots on here. There are fucking idiots on here that will say all of these things, like being called a girl, which, he's had from football matches, soccer games against other teams. Mm-hmm. I said, if you didn't like that, you're going to fucking hate this. So before we start the accounts and everything, have the awareness of social media. And he's known thick about skin. That. But yeah, the thick skin is there before he even opened the account. So we're not dealing with like a normal situation. Like, I didn't put my kid, where some people use their children, like it does nothing for me. My kid has piggybacked off me and Russo and everything to build his following. It's not been a case of me using my kid to get a following where I get my kid to do clever things. You know how these parents like stage these things like, look what my kid said. Like, no, we don't do anything like that. Like, I mean, he's been on the show. Like, what he says is what he says. Like, it's not, it's not a case of, and he's not knocked it out of the park like 10 times out of 10. There have been like there've been loads of times where I said, oh, say what you said here, and
he's a kid. He's not a performer.
Yeah, so like sometimes he'll say something great, and sometimes he'll go on a podcast and he'll forget the great thing he said while we were sitting there watching. So it's difficult with kids, but that's the thing. Like 9 times out of 10, his content will be good enough for a 10-year-old. Yeah. So that's what you're kind of looking for. So yeah, he knows what these trolls are like and everything, and he contributed towards that speech from seeing the picture of Aiden and looking at the likes on his Twitter account. Because I explained to him, he said, "Oh, what's this guy like? More or less, what are his shortfalls? Why you have an issue with him?" Everything was explained. So
with him chugging a beer with his double chin, sweating.
Yeah, I mean, a pig is a pig. Like, a kid can see a pig. So yeah, he was involved in the writing of everything that he said. So that's the thing. And again, it goes even further than that. We can't put him on a video or anything unless his mum turns around and goes, yeah, I'm fine with it. Because if I do a video and his mum turns around and goes, what the fuck is this? Why is this like Irish guy pointing a gun at our window? Like that's gonna come back. That's gonna come back to me. So yeah, like all of this stuff is done with like the right thinking going into it. So yeah, to address people that I thought were going to come out, but none of these.
Nothing happened. So what do you address?
nothing happened. Yeah, it was all like unanimous. Even one guy was on Instagram and it was like, and he goes, "Oh, please, you should put that video up on your Instagram." And I didn't, just because I know they are the ultimate snowflake social media. Like, they're banning girls permanently for like a tiny bit of like nip in pictures and things. So, or for pictures like not even got a nip in it, but it's just too sexy.
Yeah.
Like, I know girls that have lost like 50, 60,000 follower accounts for being too sexy. So
we should nickname Austin Charlotte's Web because he attracts pigs.
Well, I think like this guy, he's not coming back, and he'll listen to this too. So
of course he will. He's in love with us. He's probably jerking off in peanut butter right now.
What's he going to do without us now? I tell you what's going to happen. I make a prediction now.
He's listened to my show too because somebody said something. Oh, that Lingus. That's the worst podcast there is out there. I said I need that as a quote for for my show.
So I think what will happen is that he'll do what he's done before, because I noticed. I don't know if I didn't tell you this. I have his phone number in my phone.
Really? Oh, because he subscribed. Yeah, that's true.
He subscribed to something, and he texted me once. He texted me once saying that the show was fucking something we did was like absolute trash or whatever. I found his number in my phone, 100%. So what he'll do is he'll do his usual thing of he'll lay low, keep his head down for like a few months, and then he'll like come back and he'll contact us and mention something about the show, as if
like it never happened and he's a fan.
Yeah.
Then exactly. You know he's a real mental disorder. So, all right, everybody. I'm Cav Manning.
Yeah, look, I've got a message here to him. It says he done something on social media. He did something on social media and blocked me.
Yeah.
So I've sent a message to him and put, look at you, look at the state of you. You can't be fired from somewhere where you left, and you think Twitter means shit to me. Stick to being a four-eyed fanboy. Let's not forget how you used to lick my ass every week. Now you're resorting to commenting on a child. So he commented on Austin before, and I've got his number here. You're a pathetic loser cunt. You're not even a mental health worker. You're the one who's mentally ill. Trolling is literally all you have to live for. You sad, irrelevant fuck.
You know what you do? You start listing his phone number except for the last four numbers, and you say, keep talking shit, and each time I'll release another number. Have a countdown on there.
But I literally forgot that we'd ever had this exchange. And then I like somehow in my phone, I remember that he was on the packages where you get the betting picks and stuff, and yeah, that's how like I realized and just ended up doing a fucking spot check on it.
That's fine.
And seeing that he'd done, and it was all the same shit. It was all the same shit repeated in terms of attacking Austin and me being skeptical about him being a mental health worker back then and everything. So yeah, shit. I've sent it to you. I've sent it to you now. I've sent you the phone number and the message.
That's great. All right, everybody. We'll see you when we talk about the review of what happened and what will possibly be happening down the road. I'm Cav Manning. He's Billy Body. We're out of here.
My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as a big-ass piece of shit.